We're back at the line table with this week's Line Opinion panelists to discuss one more topic. There are two ballot initiatives in Albuquerque that may or may not end up on the ballot in November. One would require that local employers allow people to earn sick leave. We tackled that here a few weeks ago. The other would provide more public financing for candidates in the city's mayoral elections. And Laura Sanchez-Rivey, already September, still no clear answer on whether there's going to be initiatives on the ballot or not. A lot of finger pointing here, and this is a tough one to sort of parse out. But let's take this one at a time. On the idea of the previously mentioned sick leave, the idea of putting on the ballot a long explanation about this whole thing versus a summary seems to be one of the contentious issues here. Can folks really get what they need in the booth to make a very important decision on a summary, or is it on us to know what we're voting for before we go into the booth in the first place? That's my first question, but let's take that one first, the summary issue. Does that work for you? We've done that here in a couple things. Does it? Okay.
Mainly because I do some of the work that I do is bond work, municipal bonds and school bonds. Mm-hmm. And there's no way that they put the entire resolution or the entire ordinance of a bond onto a ballot for a bond question. It's always a summary.
Okay.
And it's a very specific question that spells out what the purpose is. And I don't see why they couldn't do that with this.
Okay.
What is not feasible is to have the 7 pages worth of a resolution or a ballot proposition on a ballot. Especially in a presidential year, and I've worked for the county clerk's office before doing absentee ballot judge work, and essentially, in a presidential year, you already have a very long ballot because you have, all kinds of down ballot races. It's not just the top ones. So you're talking about both sides, very small print, and then you get to those questions, and they have to be very small. They have to be very, specific summaries. You would have multiple pages worth of a ballot if you added 7 pages worth of a resolution. Part of what I find troubling is, the finger pointing, I think it's childish, but if the city council is serious about wanting to put this question on the ballot, they need to go back and figure out how to summarize it. If they rely on the advocates to summarize it, then you may potentially get a summary that's slanted. So I think it's really the city council and their analysts that need to figure out how to summarize it. Part of the problem is that the council president is saying, we've already done what we need to do. Right. Well, in doing that, you're essentially telling the commission, we're done. So pick one, and they're going to pick the smaller one. That's because right. They just can't add. Adding more pages to that ballot means adding more dollars to your election, and that doesn't make sense either, I think, for the taxpayers of this county.
That's right. And Maggie Toulouse-Oliver has weighed in on this too, saying, look, you can have one, you can have the other, but you can't have both. It's kind of crazy. The finger pointing that was just mentioned by Laura Sanchez-Rivey between city council and our county commissioners. What's your sense of that? It seemed to me that, like Laura said, they sent it to the county commission. They expected a quick stamp off, and everything was going to, run, smoothly. And then it sort of got kicked back, and city council got a little loose on their feet there. What's your sense of it? Is city council to blame here, or is it the county commissioner in your view?
Well, who's to blame, right?
Yeah.
It's that old song. But I would say, I don't know who's to blame, but I think that these ballot issues, the two of them, even though they have signatures, they are nothing more than a way to increase attendance at the polling. And that's it, because
right.
I don't see either one of these two issues passing. And so I think it is very childish with the whole city council saying, well, if you're going to do this, then we're going to not play nicely. And so all of a sudden the commission decides to take on art.
That's right.
Albuquerque Rapid Transit. And so it's just like the madness. All they're doing is that they're reinforcing this perception that government is out of touch with the people because they're just it's government's fighting with people.
Right.
And that's why the lack of trust of state government and federal government officials, and even I would imagine city and local government, is tanked. Is because you need to be responsible in how you approach these issues, and fighting back and forth over this stuff is just not going to do it.
Right on. Julianne, interestingly, Santa Fe has a bit of a different system for ballot initiatives as you're watching things go on down here. Interesting point Tom makes, though, this idea that we load ballot initiatives on the ballot itself. It either muddies the water, people trying to get clarity on things. Does that work in your view, using this system?
Yeah, we've seen these non-binding resolutions pop up, and I think they're a good example of that, where you always hear folks say that, well, that's intended to draw more of this type of voter to the polls. And I think there is some truth in that. We saw that with the marijuana decriminalization measures that have been in several counties. Interestingly, the city of Santa Fe was going to put a marijuana decriminalization measure on a city ballot, which in Santa Fe, the city ballot happens in the spring, as opposed to the state ballots that we're looking at coming up in the fall.
Sure.
But the city council decided, oh, we don't even want to put that on the ballot. We're just
Wow.
going to make a rule about that, which then, of course, the police aren't following. That's a story for another day. But I do think that the ballot initiative question is one that's still worth talking about. You know, if they don't have a hope of passing, if they don't have a hope of doing something, the ballot's already like a too long didn't read for a lot of people.
That's right.
You got these judicial retention races that people don't even bother to fill out the bubble in.
It happens. You know, we talked a little before we started taping about this idea of the 8 pages having a, there they are right there. I mean,
8 pages,
no
yes.
one's going to do that. I mean, no one is going to do that standing in a booth, and they're going to make a decision after paragraph 2 and just kind of go for it, you know.
Oh, well, and there,
Yeah.
so lots of problems here. One is I'm not a ballot initiative fan because the language that is passed, if you are not cognizant of the way our statutes work, can really cause problems. The summaries, Laura hit it right on the head, depends on who's summarizing it.
Right.
My friend Dennis Kintai put in a bill that was summarized by the Legislative Counsel Service to increase contributions to the legislative retirement. It failed. Do you know why it failed? Because people read the title and they thought it meant that the state was going to give them more money when in fact they were changing the burden. And so it's really
It's a big
important.
difference.
It was a big difference. And so you've got to ask the other question is, so this is a very big deal.
Yeah.
Where are the city councilors who should have brought this forward as a piece of legislation to get it passed? There was no reason for this to go to the ballot because if the city council wanted to do it, why didn't they carry it?
Right.
Did they not have political will?
Interesting point there. I'll stay with you on this one too. Tom mentioned art. Why are we having to deal with this on the ballot? See, that angers me. That it's even a question on the ballot. Seems like a colossal waste of money.
Well, good. So having sat on voters and elections, there is some sanctity to the ballot, and the ballot is meant for people to give you a direct action to take. Polling by ballot is outrageous.
There you go. That's all the time we have. Thanks, guys. Great stuff tonight. Appreciate it. I'm Gene Grant. Thanks for joining us this week for New Mexico in Focus. And as always, we appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged. We'll see you next week in Focus.
Funding for New Mexico in Focus provided by the McCune Charitable Foundation and the Nalita E. Walker Fund for KNME-TV, the KNME-TV Endowment Fund, and viewers like you.